Welcome to the follow-along routine for more flexibility for your hips. You don't need any equipment for this routine. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. And let's get started right away. First exercise. Take your right leg bent forward, place it on the floor, and slide your pelvis as low as you can. Make sure your hips are closed. That means pull your left side towards your feet. It doesn't matter if your leg hangs in the air or hits the floor, as long as you have a good stretch in the gluteal area. Make sure the stretch is intense enough, but also enough that you can hold it for 2 minutes with me. Why the 2 minutes? After 30 seconds, your fascial system is just starting to let go, which means we need some time for you to get the optimal stretch and blood flow. If you find you've gone too far in the exercise, that's no problem at all. Go back a little further, push off a little more with your hands, and hold that position for the rest of the 2 minutes. Why do we stretch the buttocks? In everyday life, when you sit a lot, but also when standing, when walking, we constantly need our muscles of the front chain. That is, at some point they contract in your posterior chain, especially in the hip area. Your buttocks must hold against it. That means the more tension you build up in the front, the more counter tension your glutes need to keep you up. And so that we can get the hip flexors nice and free afterwards, it's important to relax the counterpart as well. And slowly release. Very good. Take your left leg forward, bent. Feel free to follow your mat edge, your thigh parallel to the mat edge. And that you feel the stretch well on your buttocks and thigh area. It doesn't matter if you get on the floor or not. The important thing is that the stretch is there. To intensify the stretch, either take your foot further forward so that you come to a 90-degree angle from your knee, or you can lean your upper body towards your foot. This way you intensify the stretch in your buttocks, which can also pull up over your back. If the stretch decreases a bit, then be sure to go further into the stretch. Hold the position. and release. Sit on your mat. take your left foot, angle it and put it as close as you can, or pull it as close as you can to your butt. Make sure the position doesn't pull you into a hollow back. So pull your belly button towards your spine so you get an intense stretch on your thigh. The important thing here is that your legs are parallel to each other. Your knee stays on the floor, and you lean back with your arms as far as they will go for you. The muscle we're stretching goes over two joints, once over your hip and over your knee joint. When the muscle contracts, it pulls on your pelvis. That is, it pulls your pelvis forward, which can cause more stress on your lumbar spine. And when the stretch goes down a bit, feel free to go a little further into the stretch. Watch your belly button though. Always pull it nicely towards your spine. If you get pain in your back in this position, all the more important to stabilize the abdomen. Then the exercise is just right for you to get into the counter movement. All right, switching sides. Take your right foot as close as you can to your butt, legs stay straight. Parallel to each other. Go back as far as you can and pull the belly button towards the spine. The stretch may feel a little different, like on the other side. It may be a little lower or maybe a little higher. That's perfectly fine depending on where the most tension is in your muscle. And take a deep breath. If you find you can't hold the position, you really need to get out of there, then just move forward a little more so you hold the position for the remaining time. It is so important that we keep the 2 minutes so you can get the best circulation in your tissues. Blood circulation always means regeneration, and regeneration means that the substances that are stuck in the tissues are better removed, and maybe micro tears in the muscles can be regenerated. You're doing very well. Getting there, and slowly release. Now come into the shooter stance. Left leg forward, right leg back, and then push your pelvis forward as far as you can so that you have an intense stretch on your right groin. And make sure here that you don't get a hollow back. Pull your belly button back towards your spine. This way you can also intensify your stretch. By doing these exercises, you free up your hip joint. But what exactly does that mean? Because of all the tension in your tissues, the femoral head, which is your thigh bone, is pressed into the hip socket. There, of course, we have a cartilage overlay, and under constant pressure in your joint, you're wearing down the cartilage, and that's how initial wear occurs. And to prevent greater damage from the cartilage and joint, it's important to stretch regularly to get yourself out of that tension. And even if there is already damage, our body can regenerate. Cartilage feeds on pressure and relief. That means our joint needs pressure, but it also needs relief. And by stretching, we create relief. The pressure, you get it often through your everyday life. Slowly release and switch sides. Take your right leg forward and your left leg back. Pull your belly button towards the spine and push your pelvis forward. The stretch can be in the hip groin area here. It is also possible that shortly after the stretch, your hip feels totally irritated and anything but good at first. But don't worry, that's perfectly normal. You're changing the position of your joint for the first time. You're giving it a chance to regenerate for the first time. This is a lot of work for your body, and it's okay to give it that time. After about 10 minutes after the exercises, though, the feeling should totally go away. If it doesn't go away, then you know it was maybe a bit too much, but that's no problem at all. No reason to give up. Best to go right the next day and not go too hard into the exercise as you did the day before. I hope you're as motivated as Mars, who's been whizzing around here all the time. We'll move on to the next exercise. Come into the quadruped position, lift your left leg, about hip level. If you can't get it that high, that's no problem at all. Pull your leg up as high as you can. Angle your leg, put your foot on the other leg, and let yourself hang towards the floor. Again, it may well be that in the exercise it somehow hurts your back a little bit. That is not the goal. If this happens, then tighten your belly button and equalize that pressure in your back. You'll feel the stretch in your inner thigh and groin area. You may also feel a little pull up into your abdomen, all perfectly fine. Hold the position with me for 2 minutes. Here we get especially to the deep muscles, the hip flexors, and depending on how we move in everyday life, they have an extreme amount of tension, from sitting, from walking, maybe even from sleeping, depending on your sleeping position. You're welcome to. If you notice the stretch is subsiding a bit, pull your leg up a little bit more. The important thing is that you maintain an intense stretch for these 2 minutes. You're doing very, very well. Make sure you keep at it. And slowly release. And lift your right leg up. Let your pelvic abdominal area hang to the floor and pull your leg up as high as you can. This is important. Don't tilt to your left side. Keep your pelvis parallel to the floor. This is the last exercise. Hang in there. You're almost done. Come out of the exercise and make a complete round. Either do it like I just did, sit on your heels, put your hands in front of you, or in the quadruped position, round your back once. If you want to do more for your body, like a general exercise routine, just click here to stop missing videos from us. Then click here to subscribe to our channel. So glad you joined us. We'll see you next time.